If you own a home in Canada, you are sitting on a gold mine, but you are using it wrong. We are raised with one financial commandment: pay off your mortgage. We are told debt is bad. We are told to be debt-free. But look at the wealthy. Look at the real estate moguls. They don't pay off their debt, they transform it. In the United States, homeowners get to deduct their mortgage interest from their taxes. In Canada, the CRA says no. Or do they? What if I told you there is a completely legal, CRA-approved strategy that allows you to convert your non-deductible mortgage interest into tax-deductible investment interest? It's called the Smith Maneuver. It allows you to pay off your house in half the time, build a massive investment portfolio for free, and get a tax refund of thousands of dollars every single year. This is not a loophole, it is a strategy. And in this masterclass, I'm going to teach you exactly how to execute it, step by step. We are going to cover the mechanics, the specific mortgage product you need, the tax forms required, and the math that makes this legal. Before we call the bank, we need to rewire your brain. We are raised to hate debt. We are taught that debt-free is the ultimate goal. And sure, if you have zero debt and $1 million in cash, life is good. But the path to get there isn't by destroying debt, it's by converting it. You see, the CRA does not view all debt equally. They view it in two categories: bad debt and good debt. Bad debt is debt you take on to buy things that lose value or just sit there. Your car loan, bad debt. Your credit card balance from that vacation, terrible debt. And your mortgage, yes, even your mortgage. Why? Because your house does not generate taxable income. You live in it. It consumes cash, it doesn't produce it. Therefore, the interest you pay on that massive loan is effectively post-tax money. You have to earn $1.50 at your job, pay 50 cents in tax just to give the bank $1 of interest. Good debt is different. Good debt is money you borrow to invest in something that generates income, like a business, a rental property, or a portfolio of dividend stocks. Because you are trying to earn taxable income, the CRA allows you to deduct the cost of borrowing, the interest, from your taxes. The Smith Maneuver is simply a conveyor belt. We are not paying off your debt faster, we are keeping your total debt exactly the same. But every single month, we are moving a chunk of debt from the bad pile to the good pile. We are painting the debt green. When you finish this process, you will still owe the bank money, but instead of a non-deductible mortgage costing you thousands, you will have a fully tax-deductible investment loan that generates a refund every year. That is the goal. So, can you do this with your current mortgage? Probably not. Most Canadians have a standard amortizing mortgage. You pay principal and interest, the balance goes down, and that equity sits trapped in your drywall until you sell the house. To execute the Smith Maneuver, you need a specific tool. It's called a re-advancable mortgage. If you walk into your bank branch and ask for this, the teller might look blankly at you. You need to know the brand names. Here is how it works mechanically. Imagine your total borrowing limit is 80% of your home's value. Let's say that's $800,000. This limit is split into two boxes. Box 1, the mortgage. This is your amortizing loan. Box 2, the home equity line of credit, or HELOC. This is a revolving credit line. In a standard HELOC, you have to apply to increase your limit. In a re-advanceable mortgage, these two boxes are linked. It works like a seesaw. Every time you make a mortgage payment, let's say $2,000 of principal, your mortgage balance drops by $2,000. Instantly, automatically, and without you asking, your HELOC limit increases by exactly $2,000. This automatic re-advanceability is the engine. It gives you immediate access to the equity you just paid off. Without this specific product, the friction is too high and the strategy falls apart. So step 1, get a re-advanceable mortgage. Okay, you have the mortgage. How do you actually do the maneuver? Let's walk through a single month, step by step. Don't blink or you'll miss the magic. Day 1, the payment. Your regular mortgage payment comes out of your checking account. Let's say it's $3,500. Now, mortgages are front-loaded with interest, so maybe $1,500 of that is interest going to the bank's profit, and $2,000 is actually paying down your principal. That $2,000 is the number we care about. Day 2, the access. You log into your online banking. Because you have a re-advancable mortgage, you will see something beautiful. Your mortgage balance has dropped by $2,000, and your available credit on your HELOC has increased by exactly $2,000. Day 3, the borrow. You take that $2,000 from the HELOC and you transfer it to your checking account. This is a critical moment. You are now borrowing money. The clock starts ticking on interest. Day 4, the transfer. You move that $2,000 from your checking account into your investment account. Warning, this must be a non-registered taxable account. Do not put this in your TFSA. Do not put this in your RRSP. Day 5, the investment. You invest that $2,000. What do you buy? The CRA requires you to invest in assets with a reasonable expectation of income. This usually means dividend stocks, ETFs that pay distributions, rental properties, and business investments. Day 30, the deduction. At the end of the month, the bank charges you interest on the HELOC. Let's say it's $10. You pay that $10. Because that $10 cost was incurred directly to earn investment income, it is 100% tax deductible. You have successfully converted $2,000 of your house debt into investment debt. You do this every single month, rinse and repeat. Over 10 years, you will convert hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, you might be thinking, Jay, this sounds like a lot of work just to buy some stocks. But we haven't talked about the turbocharger yet, the tax refund. Let's fast forward to the end of the year. You have been doing this for 12 months. You have built up an investment loan of, say, $30,000. You have paid roughly $1,500 in interest on that loan. When you file your taxes, you fill out a specific line regarding carrying charges and interest expenses. You deduct that $1,500 from your income. If you're in a high tax bracket, say 40% or 50%, this generates a pure cash refund. Let's say the government sends you a check for $700. This is found money. It didn't exist before. The average Canadian takes that $700 and buys a new TV. The Smith maneuver investor takes that $700 and makes an extra prepayment on their mortgage. Watch what happens. 1. Your bad debt mortgage drops by another $700. 2. Your HELOC limit instantly rises by another $700. You borrow that $700 and invest it. This creates a flywheel effect. The refund pays down the mortgage, which creates room to borrow, which creates a bigger tax deduction next year. This cycle is how people pay off a 25-year mortgage in 12 to 15 years. Welcome back. Now that you understand the flow, we need to talk about what you buy. This is where 90% of people get into trouble. You cannot just use this money to gamble on meme stocks or buy Bitcoin. The CRA has very specific rules, and if you break them, your interest deduction will be denied and you will be audited. The rule is this: you can only deduct interest if the borrowed money is used to buy an asset that has a reasonable expectation of income. Income means dividends, interest, or rent. It does not mean capital gains. The green light list, dividend stocks, ETFs that pay distributions, rental properties, and business investments. Red light list, do not buy gold or silver. Bullion pays zero income. It only goes up in value. Interest is not deductible. Crypto, Bitcoin, and Ethereum do not pay dividends. Unless you're doing some very specific staking, which is a gray area, crypto is a no-go. And remember the golden rule: no registered accounts. The TFSA is tax-free. You cannot get a tax deduction for borrowing money to make tax-free income. I can hear some of you screaming, Jay, I can barely afford my mortgage. I don't have the cash flow to pay the interest. I have good news. You don't need cash flow. In fact, the most efficient version of the Smith maneuver requires $0 out of your pocket to service the debt. We use a strategy called capitalizing the interest. Here is how it works. Let's say your HELOC balance is $100,000. At 5% interest, the bank charges you roughly $400 this month.
Instead of paying that $400 from your checking account, you simply borrow another $400 from the HELOC itself. It sounds like a Ponzi scheme, doesn't it? Borrowing to pay the borrowing? But it is perfectly legal and mathematically sound. Why? Because that new $400 of debt was used to service a tax-deductible loan. Therefore, the interest on that new $400 is also tax-deductible. This solves the cash flow problem. You pay your regular mortgage. The HELOC pays its own interest. You invest the difference. Now we get to the hardest part. It isn't the math. It isn't the taxes. It's the psychology. We are conditioned to fear the total debt number. If you start the Smith maneuver today with a $500,000 mortgage and you do it perfectly for 20 years, guess what your debt will be in 20 years? $500,000. Your mortgage will be zero, but your investment loan will be $500,000. If you are the type of person who loses sleep over debt, this strategy will break you. You have to train your brain to stop looking at debt and start looking at net worth. Let's look at the scorecard. Year 20. Debt, $500K. Assets, $1.5 million house, plus $1 million portfolio. Net worth, $2.0 million. You are rich. You are a multi-millionaire. But you still owe the bank $500,000. Can you handle that? Can you sleep at night knowing you owe that money? If the answer is no, turn this video off. So, how does the movie end? Eventually, your amortizing mortgage is gone. You own the house free and clear of the bad debt. You are left with a massive tax-deductible HELOC. You have two choices. Choice A, the deleverage. This is for people who want peace of mind. You simply sell off enough of your investments to pay off the loan. If your portfolio has grown to $1 million and your loan is $500K, you sell half. You pay off the bank, you walk away with $500,000 in cash and a paid-off house. Choice B, the infinity yield. This is what the wealthy do. They ask, why would I pay off this loan? The interest rate is tax-deductible. Let's say the after-tax cost of borrowing is 3%, but the portfolio is yielding 4% in dividends. The math says, keep the debt forever. I would be irresponsible if I didn't tell you the risks. This is leverage. Leverage cuts both ways. There are two main risks you need to respect. Risk 1 is the callable loan. A HELOC is a demand loan. Read your contract. It says the bank can demand full repayment at any time for any reason. Now, in practice, banks rarely do this as long as you make your payments. But if housing prices crash 40% and your equity disappears, the bank gets nervous. They could freeze your HELOC or ask for money back. If this happens at the same time the stock market crashes, you could be forced to sell. Risk 2 is rising rates. HELOC interest is floating. If the Bank of Canada raises rates, your costs double overnight. The solution? Always keep a cash wedge. Keep 3 to 6 months of living expenses in cash. The Smith maneuver is a power tool. It requires discipline, organization, and a long-term mindset. But if you commit to it, it is the single most effective way for a regular Canadian employee to build wealth. Stop letting your equity sleep. Wake it up. I'm Jay. This is the Maple Finance.